Day. Let me just make sure that this is streaming into Facebook before we get started here. But as I said, yeah, Tuesday, the 17th. No, that's not streaming, I don't think. Okay, let me. Did you know that Tuesday, April 17th, is Malbec World Day? Yes, there's a day to celebrate this luscious, full-bodied red wine found mostly in Argentina these days. And we're going to find out why it deserves its own special day with tonight's guest. I'm Natalie McLean, editor of Canada's largest wine review site at nataliemclean.com. And we gather here every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, Toronto, New York time, to talk to the most interesting people in the world of wine. And I'm just going to refresh just to make sure you folks can hear and see us. Now, okay, so we are live. That's a good thing. Okay, so even before she graduated, our guest this evening she graduated actually from South America's most prestigious school of viticulture and enology, Don Bosco. She began working for the Catena family wineries in Mendoza, Argentina. In 2010, she began making wine at the Alamos Winery before taking over winemaking in 2016. She lives with her husband, who is also a winemaker, and her 4 young daughters, who are all growing up and working on their family vineyard just as she did. And she joins me now live from the Alamos Winery in Argentina. Welcome to the Sunday Sipper Club, Lucia Veilleretti. Hello.
Hello, Natalie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And, I must say, thank you so much for being here because you're in the middle of a harvest, aren't you?
Yes, we are just finishing picking the Malbec grapes.
The Malbec. Well, how timely of you to just wrap it up as we need to talk about Malbec. And of course, Malbec Day is Tuesday. Good timing. Exactly. So again, I'm just going to go back to Facebook and okay, great. Everybody, video and audio is fine. Excellent. Good. Yay, I love it when it works. I'm almost nervous to say that, Lucia. Technology. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome Rick Delderis, Paul Hollander, Lori Kilmartin, Beverly Asalon, and I think there were a few other people, and you've slid off the screen, so folks keep posting below. Before we get into our discussion, just yes or no in the comments below. Did you even know there was a World Malbec Day or Malbec World Day? Hey, Sam in BC says, this is certainly going to be a lot more fun than finishing my taxes. All right, that's excellent. Okay, Lucia. Mark Lay is back from Argentina, where you enjoyed Malbecs. Mark, we need to hear from you during this discussion. That's fantastic. Okay, so, Lucia, maybe take us back before we take the deep dive into Malbec. Take us back to the exact moment when you knew you wanted to be a winemaker. Where were you? What triggered that thought?
Well, my family owns vineyards, so I just grow up in the vineyards. So for me, it was very common to be in contact with the grapes, with the wine. And that's when I grew up, I decided, okay, I want to continue the tradition of the family and make wine. And of course, my father was excited.
Oh, he was excited. Good. Was your mother also excited?
Yes, she
okay.
was.
Good. And as a child, was there a part of what you were doing on the vineyard, the family farm, that you loved best? Like, was there a particular part that you loved to do?
Well, always the picking, the harvest time is the most interesting part, taking all the grapes from the vine. That's always the funny part of all the work in the vineyard.
And was it fun because it was so busy, such a rush, or was it fun because you like to eat the grapes, or what did you like about the harvest?
It was fun because I was with all my brothers and sisters and also my cousins, and we were having fun. We weren't working there. I mean, it was just looking how all the workers in the vineyard do the job, and we went with our little bucket and take some clusters and bring it to the house. So it was funny. It was nice.
Yes, because you come from a big family, not just of brothers and sisters, but cousins and so on, right?
Yes, yes. Well, that's very common here in Argentina.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
try to keep the tradition of joining all together and have a big lunch on Sunday. So
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So I'm just going to take a moment and just say, folks, if you are enjoying this or think you're going to enjoy this conversation, which I know you will, please take a moment to share this video now so that others can join us here online for the chat, ask their own questions, be sipping along with us. And what's always great is if you tell your contacts why you're sharing this video, what you think you'll enjoy about it, what they'll enjoy. Of course, if you click on follow and like and all that sort of thing, you'll always know when we go live every week. Okay, so let's get back to Argentina. Let's start broadly, Lucia, before we get more narrowed down on Malbec. So, what is it about Argentina that makes it a great region for producing wine? I mean, we know it has great climate, soil, but what is it about Argentina, sorry, as a wine producing region?
well, here in Argentina, we have an excellent, as you said, an excellent climate. The soils are very good. Also, we get these beautiful mountains that give us the snow melt water that irrigates our vines. Most of the places where the vines are cultivated were desert. So in the way that the people who originally lived in this region create channels to create the oasis where we are planting our vines and all our agriculture here.
Yes, I love how you put
So
it. It's an oasis in a desert. And
yeah,
you've also talked about the bold. It's a land of bold expression, bold colors, bold flavors. I mean, from the mountains to the desert itself to the vines to the wine. It's really a
yeah,
terrific setting, if
yeah.
you will, for because you're right. The backdrop is the Andes, right? The Andes Mountains.
Yes, yes, we are just next to the Andes. Yeah.
So how do they help you? You mentioned the snow melt, so there's natural irrigation. What else do the Andes provide when it comes to
Well,
growing wine?
also most of the vineyards, and mostly the ones we use for our Alamos brand, came from high altitude regions. So the exposure to the sunlight it's better there. You get a more intensity of the sunlight in the skin of the grapes. So in that way, we get more polyphenols, so we get more concentration, more structure in the wines.
Yes, absolutely. Roger Cahul, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Roger, says he's taking refuge from. We're getting an ice storm here tonight in southwestern or southern Ontario. Rick Daldera says he's drinking more wine tonight because of the taxes he has to pay. Well, I'm glad you can afford it. That's good, Rick. Gwen Barton says Argentina Malbec is an excellent value for us here in Canada. Absolutely, Gwen. It's one of the best values on the liquor store shelf. And Mark Lay says when he visited Argentina, there was such a huge variation in Malbecs that I tried. At one point, I swore I was drinking Pinot Noir. Wow, what would make Malbec, Lucia, almost as delicate as, if you will, as a Pinot Noir? Would that be a high altitude planting? Yes, I think we might be having an issue with the sound. I'm not sure if we can still hear you, Lucia. You want to try that again, like in terms of Pinot Noir stylistically? I'm not sure I'm hearing you. Do you want to try? Okay, folks, we will just keep talking away until I can hear her again. Lucia, you keep trying and I'll let you know when I hear you. She is logged in live from Argentina, so the connection is a challenge. But I'll keep going here until I can hear you, Lucia. So, folks, what else? What other Malbecs have you tried recently? Have you tried, I should say, the Alamos Malbec? I mean, it's got such a good value. I mean, it's like $13.95 is their entry level, right? And I'll list these in the Facebook comments. And then their premium, the Selection, is only $16.95. It's pretty amazing value. So as we wait for Lucia to get connected on the volume again, I'll just try a tasting of the regular Malbec. So going in for this one. Has anybody had this one before? Let me know. All right. Let's try this. Mark is drinking the Alamos right now. It's lovely, he says. Oh, that's so nice, Mark. Oh my gosh, I would never believe it was $13.95. Oh, Neil Phillips, you've had the Alamos. It's so dependable. And I think this is a great time for us to be exploring Malbec because of, we hope, I know not, today's weather would not indicate, but we're coming round the turn to spring and summer barbecue or spring barbecues. This would be just excellent. Lucia, chime in if you can, if you get your volume back. Otherwise, I'll keep going. Okay. So Lori Kilmartin says she's been drinking Alamos and Catena for a while. James Norton says many times he's had it. Beverly Aslan is drinking a California Clos Malbec. And Rochelle O'Connor, I agree with Gwen, great value. So I'm going to give this a try. That's not what I want to spit out. Oh my God, it's juicy. Gosh. The acidity is here, and yet it's like a plush cushion of fleshy, ripe black plums right through the palate. So very good. Paul Hollander says that he and Patty, his wife, have had it. Excellent. And Greg, hey, he practically skated home to get here on time, drinking some sparkling Reboso from the Veneto. So, Greg, I'm glad you made it home safely. I didn't realize the roads were that bad already. So, folks, hopefully you're all safe at home tonight. So, that is the entry-level Alamos Malbec. Okay, and Lucia is trying to log in again, so let's see if we can bring her back here. Lucia, can you hear and see me? I can't hear you. So if you want to keep trying, the sound seems not to be turned on there.